The courtroom felt colder than usual, silent, heavy, like the air itself knew what was about to happen. I sat at the plaintiff's table, hands trembling in my lap, heart pounding beneath my blazer. Across from me, my soon-to-be ex-husband leaned back in his chair with that same arrogant smirk he had worn throughout our entire marriage. He thought today would be easy. He thought he would win. He thought he would walk away with custody and half of everything I had built. The judge entered, stern and unreadable. "This is the final hearing," she announced. "Present your final arguments," my lawyer nudged me gently. "Stay strong," she whispered, but strength felt far away. My husband rose with confidence dripping from every word. "Your Honor," he began, "I have been a devoted father. My wife is emotional, unstable, unfit to raise our daughter. I request full custody." A murmur rippled through the courtroom. My jaw clenched, every lie stabbed deeper. Then he added, "And I have proof." Of course he did. His proof was always me, twisted, edited, manipulated into something I wasn't. The judge turned to me. "Mrs. Carter, do you wish to respond?" I opened my mouth, but before I could speak, a small voice rose behind me. "Mom?" I turned. My daughter, my sweet, quiet, gentle 11-year-old, was standing there. Face pale, hands shaking, eyes shining with a mix of fear and determination. The courtroom gasped softly. Children didn't speak in divorce hearings unless asked. But here she was, stepping forward on her own. The judge looked softened. "Honey, is everything all right?" She swallowed, tears trembling on her lashes. "No," she whispered, "it's not." My husband's smirk faded. "Sit down," he hissed under his breath. "Now." But she ignored him. For the first time ever, she ignored him. She lifted her tablet. "I have a video." Silence. Stillness. Even the judge looked stunned. My husband coughed, trying to regain control. "Your Honor, this is ridiculous. She's a child." "Quiet," the judge snapped. "Let her speak." My daughter stepped to the center of the courtroom. I recorded something because I knew no one would believe us. My breath caught us, not just me, her too. Hands trembling, she tapped play. And suddenly, the speakers filled with a sound that made every hair on my body stand up. Her own voice. Crying, begging, pleading. The courtroom froze. On the screen, my husband appeared, red-faced, furious, towering over her. "Stop crying." "You hear me? Stop!" A crash followed. Her doll, her favorite doll, shattered against the wall. Gasps filled the room. The judge's eyes widened. My lawyer covered her mouth. My husband lunged toward her. "Turn it off! Turn it! Sit down!" The judge thundered. He froze. For the first time, he was powerless. My daughter continued, voice cracking. He told everyone that Mom was the crazy one. That she yelled, that she broke things. But it was him. Tears slipped down her cheeks. I recorded it because I didn't want to be scared anymore. And then, the moment that shattered me completely. On the video, she whispered through sobs, "Daddy, please stop." "I'm scared." The courtroom went silent. No murmurs, no whispers. Just stunned, horrified silence. My daughter lowered the tablet, her small shoulders trembling. He always said nobody would believe me, but now they have to. I felt something warm slip down my face. A tear. I didn't even feel coming. The judge leaned forward. "Is that you in the video, Mr. Carter?" My husband's face had turned ashen. He stuttered, reaching for excuses. "That's taken out of context. She edited it. It's fake. But the judge wasn't listening anymore. Her eyes were already full of judgment, final judgment. My daughter walked toward me, and I pulled her into my arms. She clung to me, shaking. But she whispered one sentence that I would never forget. "Mom, we're free now." And for the first time, I believed her. The courtroom remained frozen in stunned silence long after the video ended. It felt like time itself had stopped, like every person in the room was holding their breath at once. Even the judge appeared shaken, her normally firm expression replaced with something raw, anger, sadness, disbelief. My husband, Daniel, sat like a statue. His face had drained of color. His fingers twitched restlessly on the table, as if searching for control that was no longer there. The judge finally cleared her throat. "Mr. Carter, do you deny that this is you in the recording?" He opened his mouth, but no words came out. For the first time in years, he was speechless. She repeated more forcefully, "Is this you?" He swallowed hard. Your Honor, I was stressed. It was a difficult week. Kids exaggerate. You know how they can— The judge slammed her gavel down. Enough! The sound echoed through the room like thunder. You verbally abused your child, she said, her voice razor-sharp. And based on her testimony and this footage, I have every reason to believe this was not an isolated incident. My daughter tightened her grip on my sleeve. I placed my hand over hers. The judge turned to me next. Mrs. Carter, please approach. I stood, legs trembling, and walked to the bench. I had concerns, she said softly, but I never imagined— Her voice trailed off. When she spoke again, it carried the certainty of a hammer. Effective immediately. Temporary sole custody is granted to you. A gasp escaped me. It felt unreal, too big, too fast. She continued, Child Protective Services will review the full video. And Mr. Carter, you will have no visitation rights until the investigation is complete. Daniel shot up from his chair. This is insane! She set me up! They're both lying. The bailiff took a step toward him, one hand hovering near his belt. My daughter flinched. I pulled her against my side. The judge didn't blink. One more outburst, Mr. Carter, and you will be escorted from this courtroom. He pressed his lips together so tightly they turned white. The judge looked back at my daughter, her tone softening. Sweetheart, you were very brave today. My daughter nodded, but tears streamed down her cheeks. I hugged her tighter. The judge dismissed us. People began whispering, lawyers, clerks, observers, everyone buzzing with shock and judgment. But their voices felt distant, muted under the pounding of my heartbeat. As we walked out of the courtroom, Daniel's voice stopped us. Emily, we turned. He stood stiffly beside his lawyer, eyes burning, not with guilt, but with rage. This isn't over, he said. Jaw clenched so hard a vein bulged from his temple. You think one stupid video will ruin me? I'll fight this. I'll fight both of you. My daughter shrank behind me. I stepped forward, voice steady but shaking inside. It's already over, Daniel. You did this. Not us, his lip curled. You'll regret this, Anna. His lawyer tugged his sleeve, whispering urgently, but he jerked his arm away. I walked out. Not because I wanted to, but because if I stayed 1 second longer, I would have fallen apart. Reporters were waiting. Local news, tabloids, bloggers. Word had spread like wildfire. Microphones, cameras, blinding flashes, all pushing forward. Ma'am, was that your daughter in the video? Is it true your husband verbally abused her? How long has this been going on? Are you seeking full custody permanently? I shielded my daughter's face and pushed through. My lawyer raised her hands. No comments, please make way. We reached my car. I opened the back door. My daughter climbed in silently. Her small hands were still trembling. When I got in, she didn't look at me. She stared out the window, eyes hollow. Sweetheart, I whispered gently, you did something incredibly brave today. Her voice came out barely audible. Mom, he's going to be so mad. My heart cracked. She was still scared of him, even after everything. I took her hand. He can't hurt you anymore. I promise, but promises felt fragile, because deep down I knew Daniel wasn't the kind of man who gave up quietly. We sat on the couch at home, wrapped in blankets. Tea for me, warm milk for her. She stared at the steam rising from her mug. Mom, she whispered, can I tell you something? Of course, I said softly. I didn't record that video for the court. My breath caught. She looked up at me with pain, and something else I didn't expect, shame. I recorded it, because I was scared that one day he'd hurt you too. And I wanted proof so someone would help us. Tears blurred my vision. I pulled her into my arms instantly. Oh, baby, you shouldn't have had to do that. I'm so sorry, she cried into my chest, small body trembling. I wanted to save you, Mom. But you shouldn't have had to save me, I whispered. We stayed like that for a long time, her tears soaking my shirt, my arms wrapped around her like I could hold her broken pieces together. When she finally fell asleep in my lap, I brushed her hair gently from her face. My little girl had carried a secret so heavy, so painful, and she still thought she had to protect me. As I tucked her into bed, something inside me hardened. Not anger, not hatred, resolve. Daniel had hurt my daughter. He had manipulated the system. He had tried to break me. But now, I would fight with everything in me. For her, for us, for our freedom. For the next 2 days, the house felt strangely quiet. Too quiet, like the calm before a storm. My daughter stayed close to me, never out of reach. She had dark circles under her eyes, the aftermath of fear she had carried far too long. I tried to keep things normal, movies, cooking together, sitting in the backyard, but every laugh felt forced, every smile fragile. Then, on the third morning, the storm arrived. It came with a knock, not a gentle knock, a firm, demanding official one. I opened the door to find two people standing there, one in a navy suit, the other holding a clipboard. "Both wearing badges, Mrs. Carter?" the woman asked. "Yes? We're with Child Protective Services. We need to speak with you immediately." My stomach dropped. This wasn't supposed to happen. We already gave them the video. The judge already ruled. Why were they here? My daughter peeked from behind me, her eyes widening with fear. The man gave a rehearsed smile. "We just have a few follow-up questions, standard procedure." But his eyes weren't warm at all. They were suspicious. As they stepped inside, I noticed something else. They had a folder in their hands. A thick one, and on the tab, in bold letters, "Complaint filed by Daniel Carter." My heart stopped. He did it. He struck back, fast, ruthless, calculated. The woman sat across from me. The man opened the folder. "Mrs. Carter," he began, flipping through papers, "your husband has filed an allegation that—" "He's not my husband," I corrected sharply. "We're in the middle of a divorce." He continued without acknowledging the correction, "that you've been emotionally manipulating your daughter, coaching her to lie, coaching her to fear him." My daughter gasped. "I didn't lie. I didn't—" The woman raised a hand. "Sweetheart, we'll ask questions later." "No," I squeezed her hand. "Ask her now. She's the victim here." The man's tone hardened. "Mrs. Carter, please don't interfere." My blood boiled. He scanned another page. "It also says you have been displaying erratic emotional behavior caused by mental instability." "What? That's a lie." "He's trying to twist, and that you've been known to have sudden outbursts that frightened your child." My daughter shook her head violently. "That's what he did, not Mom." I could feel the trap tightening around us. This wasn't an interview. This was an ambush. "He submitted screenshots," the woman added quietly. My breath hitched. "What screenshots?" The man turned the folder around. There they were, my text messages. Private ones from nights when I cried to my sister, panicking about the marriage, the fear, the fights. And somehow he had twisted them. They were cropped, edited, taken out of context. A message where I said, "I feel like I'm losing my mind." Another where I wrote, "I don't know what to do anymore." Words of desperation turned into proof of instability. I felt sick. The man tapped the pages. "This material suggests that your emotional state may be fragile and possibly harmful to the child." My throat tightened. Those messages were taken during abusive episodes. I was suffering. "That doesn't make me unstable." "Perhaps," he said coldly, "but it raises questions." My daughter suddenly stood from the couch. "You're not listening," she cried. "He yelled at me. He threw my doll. He broke stuff all the time. Mom never hurt me. She took care of me. She protected me. Her voice cracked. A sob escaped her. The woman's expression softened a little, but the man remained stone-faced. "We'll need to evaluate the full situation. We'll be interviewing neighbors, reviewing the home environment, and speaking privately with your daughter." My heart clenched. "Privately? It's required." My daughter grabbed my arm tightly. No, Mom, please don't let them take me." "They're not taking you," I whispered, kneeling down to meet her eyes. "They just need to ask you questions." It's okay, but it wasn't okay. Nothing about this was okay. The moment the door closed behind them, my daughter crumbled into tears. "Mom, what if they believe him? What if they make me go back?" "I don't want to go back. I can't." I hugged her, stroking her hair. They won't take you from me." But even as I said it, fear gnawed inside me. Because Daniel was powerful, manipulative, a master at twisting truth into lies. And CPS? They weren't seeing the truth. They were seeing documents, screenshots, his crafted narrative. My lawyer called soon after. "I heard what happened. He moved faster than I expected," she said grimly. "Be prepared. He will try to discredit the video too." "He can't. It's real. He may claim it was staged, or that the audio was manipulated." She hesitated. "And Anna, if CPS doesn't side with us, the judge may reopen custody." My breath stopped. Reopen custody. Reconsideration, reversal. Everything we gained. Everything my daughter risked could vanish. I placed a hand on my forehead. What do we do? She exhaled slowly. We fight back, hard, and luckily, someone reached out. Who? Someone who says they have information about Daniel. Something big. I frowned. Who is it? She paused. It's his brother. Silence, shock, disbelief. Daniel's brother, Ethan, hadn't spoken to us in years. He had vanished after a bitter argument with Daniel. They were practically enemies. Why would he help? My lawyer's voice dropped. He said he's coming forward because he can't let your daughter take the fall for something he should have exposed years ago. My pulse quickened. What does he know? I whispered. Enough, she said. Enough to destroy Daniel completely. 2 hours after the CPS visit, my front doorbell rang again. But this time it wasn't officers. It wasn't neighbors, it wasn't reporters. It was him, Ethan Carter, Daniel's younger brother. I hadn't seen him in nearly 7 years. He stood on my porch with a hood pulled low, hands shoved in his pockets, eyes darting nervously around the neighborhood, as if someone might be watching him. Anna, he said quietly, can I come in? My daughter peeked from the hallway, her eyes wary. I hesitated for a long second. Then I stepped aside. Come in. The door closed behind him with a soft click. He looked thinner, older, worn down by something heavier than time. Ethan glanced toward my daughter, then back at me. I saw the video, he said. I know what Daniel will try next. And I can't stay silent anymore. My daughter stepped closer, still holding my hand tightly. Why are you helping us? She asked. Ethan lowered his head. Because I should have helped a long time ago. His voice trembled at first, but as he spoke, a dam seemed to break. You think the yelling started with you? With your daughter? No. Daniel has been this way since we were kids. My throat tightened, he continued. When we were younger, Daniel was violent, temper like a storm. He used to snap at the smallest things. My mom always covered for him. My dad ignored it. He swallowed hard. And when I got old enough to push back, he turned on me too. My daughter's eyes widened. You mean he hurt you? Ethan nodded slowly. I still have the scars. He pulled up his sleeve. There it was. A long, jagged burn mark running down his forearm. My breath hitched. Daniel did that? I whispered. Yes. His voice cracked. He held my arm against a hot car engine when we were teenagers because I wore his jacket without asking. My daughter covered her mouth. That's when I realized he wasn't normal. But whenever I told our parents, they said I was exaggerating. Or provoking him. He clenched his fists. And when he met you, he got worse. You softened him for a while, but the moment the relationship got real, commitment, responsibility, bills, he snapped again. Same pattern, same rage. Silence settled heavy around us. I felt cold. Colder than I'd ever felt. All these years, I whispered. You knew? He nodded miserably. I tried to warn you once. Remember, the night before your wedding? I asked if you were sure about him. I remembered. I had thought he was just being overprotective. Or dramatic. And then, I asked? Ethan sighed. Daniel found out. Beat the hell out of me. Threatened to cut me out of the family entirely if I ever interfered again. So I left cut contact. And I've regretted it every day. His eyes were glassy with guilt. He didn't just ruin your life, he ruined mine too. But your daughter, he glanced at her, voice breaking. She's the reason I came back. Kids should never have to live in fear. My daughter crawled up onto the couch beside me, leaning her head against my shoulder. I felt her heartbeat trembling through her. Ethan pulled out a brown envelope from inside his jacket. I brought something, he said. Something Daniel never wanted anyone to see. He placed the envelope on the table like it was radioactive. Inside were police reports, old ones, filed under Ethan's name when he was 17. My breath caught. Domestic assault? I whispered, reading the faded print. My lawyer called soon after. I heard what happened. He moved faster than I expected, she said grimly. Be prepared. He will try to discredit the video too. He can't, it's real. He may claim it was staged, or that the audio was manipulated. She hesitated. And Anna, if CPS doesn't side with us, the judge may reopen custody. My breath stopped. Reopen custody. Reconsideration reversal. Everything we gained, everything my daughter risked, could vanish. I placed a hand on my forehead. What do we do? She exhaled slowly. We fight back, hard, and luckily, someone reached out. Who? Someone who says they have information about Daniel. Something big. I frowned. Who is it? She paused. It's his brother. Silence, shock, disbelief. Daniel's brother, Ethan, hadn't spoken to us in years. He had vanished after a bitter argument with Daniel. They were practically enemies. Why would he help? My lawyer's voice dropped. He said he's coming forward because he can't let your daughter take the fall for something he should have exposed years ago. My pulse quickened. What does he know? I whispered. Enough, she said. Enough to destroy Daniel completely. 2 hours after the CPS visit, my front doorbell rang again. But this time it wasn't officers. It wasn't neighbors, it wasn't reporters. It was him, Ethan Carter, Daniel's younger brother. I hadn't seen him in nearly 7 years. He stood on my porch with a hood pulled low, hands shoved in his pockets, eyes darting nervously around the neighborhood, as if someone might be watching him. Anna, he said quietly, can I come in? My daughter peeked from the hallway, her eyes wary. I hesitated for a long second. Then I stepped aside. Come in. The door closed behind him with a soft click. He looked thinner, older, worn down by something heavier than time. Ethan glanced toward my daughter, then back at me. I saw the video, he said. I know what Daniel will try next. And I can't stay silent anymore. My daughter stepped closer, still holding my hand tightly. Why are you helping us? She asked. Ethan lowered his head. Because I should have helped a long time ago. His voice trembled at first, but as he spoke, a dam seemed to break. You think the yelling started with you? With your daughter? No. Daniel has been this way since we were kids. My throat tightened, he continued. When we were younger, Daniel was violent, temper like a storm. He used to snap at the smallest things. My mom always covered for him. My dad ignored it. He swallowed hard. And when I got old enough to push back, he turned on me too. My daughter's eyes widened. You mean he hurt you? Ethan nodded slowly. I still have the scars. He pulled up his sleeve. There it was. A long, jagged burn mark running down his forearm. My breath hitched. Daniel did that? I whispered. Yes. His voice cracked. He held my arm against a hot car engine when we were teenagers because I wore his jacket without asking. My daughter covered her mouth. That's when I realized he wasn't normal. But whenever I told our parents, they said I was exaggerating. Or provoking him, he clenched his fists. And when he met you, he got worse. You softened him for a while, but the moment the relationship got real, commitment, responsibility, bills, he snapped again. Same pattern, same rage. Silence settled heavy around us. I felt cold. Colder than I'd ever felt. All these years, I whispered. You knew? He nodded miserably. I tried to warn you once. Remember, the night before your wedding, I asked if you were sure about him. I remembered. I had thought he was just being overprotective or dramatic. And then I asked? Ethan sighed. Daniel found out. Beat the hell out of me. Threatened to cut me out of the family entirely if I ever interfered again. So I left cut contact. And I've regretted it every day. His eyes were glassy with guilt. He didn't just ruin your life, he ruined mine too. But your daughter, he glanced at her, voice breaking. She's the reason I came back. Kids should never have to live in fear. My daughter crawled up onto the couch beside me, leaning her head against my shoulder. I felt her heartbeat trembling through her. Ethan pulled out a brown envelope from inside his jacket. I brought something, he said. Something Daniel never wanted anyone to see. He placed the envelope on the table like it was radioactive. Inside were police reports, old ones, filed under Ethan's name when he was 17. My breath caught. Domestic assault? I whispered, reading the faded print. Yes, he said, Daniel attacked me. And my dad convinced the police it was a brotherly fight. But the injuries, he tapped the report, tell the truth. There was more. A hospital record, a therapist's letter, a school counselor's report describing Daniel's aggression. I kept these, he said, because deep down I knew this day would come. Then he handed me something else, something that chilled me to the bone. A USB drive. What's on this? I asked. Ethan took a deep breath. Recordings. Audio of Daniel talking about you. My stomach twisted. I kept them because he confessed things to me when he was drunk. He bragged about controlling you, bragged about making you question your sanity, said no one would believe you if you ever left. Tears stung my eyes. My daughter's hand found mine. Ethan leaned forward. I'll testify, Anna. I'll stand in court and tell them everything. Under oath. Why now? I whispered. His shoulders sank. Because your daughter did something I never could. He swallowed hard. She stood up to him. and I refused to let her fight alone. But then Ethan's expression darkened. "There's something else you need to know." My pulse quickened. "Daniel isn't going to stop because of the video. He's already planning his next move." My daughter tensed. "What's he going to do?" Ethan lowered his voice. "He's going to try to prove you're unfit. He'll twist CPS against you. He'll try to make you look paranoid, unstable, hysterical." I inhaled sharply. That was exactly what the CPS report tried to paint me as. "He's not doing it alone," Ethan added. "He has someone helping him, someone close." My blood ran cold. "Who?" Ethan hesitated. My daughter whispered, trembling, "Is it Grandma?" She always believed him. Ethan shook his head. "No, not her." He exhaled slowly. "It's someone who works in the system." My heart dropped. "What system?" "CPS," he said quietly. "Your caseworker didn't come by accident. Daniel paid him. That's why he had the folder ready. That's why the questions were twisted. That's why nothing you said mattered." I covered my mouth, horrified. My daughter began to cry. "They want to take me away," she whispered. "No," I pulled her into my arms instantly. "I won't let that happen." Ethan leaned forward, eyes intense. "You can't trust the agency, not right now. You need a lawyer who specializes in corrupted family cases. And you need to expose Daniel before he makes his next move." "What move?" I whispered. Ethan's jaw tightened. "He's trying to get emergency custody. By claiming you're a danger." My blood turned to ice. "When?" Ethan looked at me with grim certainty. "Tomorrow morning." That night, sleep didn't come. Not for me, not for my daughter. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the CPS badge. The edited messages, the cold accusation, Daniel's threat, and tomorrow he would try to take her. For the first time since this nightmare began, I felt fear creeping into my bones like ice. Around 2 a.m., after my daughter finally fell asleep curled against me, I went to the living room, inserted Ethan's USB into my laptop, and braced myself. A folder opened. Inside were 16 audio recordings, dated, timed. My hands trembled as I clicked the first one. Static. A clink of glass. Then Daniel's drunken voice filled the room like a ghost. "You think Anna would ever leave me? Please, she can't survive without me. I'm the smart one. She's too emotional, too stupid, honestly. She'd fall apart without me telling her what to do." My stomach twisted. I clicked the next file. Daniel laughing. "You should have seen her face today." I yelled a little, smashed a plate, and she apologized to me. That's the power I have. That's control. I felt sick. Another file. "If she ever tries to take my kid from me, I'll bury her. She's mentally unstable. I'll make sure everyone believes it. I've been planning this for years." My breath stopped. Planning. For years, I clicked another. The laugh in this one, it wasn't human. You know what the best part is? Everyone thinks I'm the perfect father. All I have to do is cry a little in court and they eat it up. A shiver ran down my spine. Ethan had been right. Daniel hadn't just been abusive. He was calculating. Manipulative, dangerously clever. But then came recording 12, the one that changed everything. It started with heavy breathing, then a slam, like a door hitting a wall. Daniel's voice, furious, unhinged. "I don't care if she cries. She has to learn not to talk back. That kid is just like her idiot mother, always thinking they know better. But they don't, they're mine. Both of them. Mine." The word echoed like a threat. Then, "If she tells anyone, I swear I'll make her regret ever being born." I covered my mouth, tears pouring down my face. This wasn't just evidence, this was a confession, a truth Daniel never thought would see light. When the last audio ended, I sat frozen. It wasn't only abuse, it was premeditated. Strategic, intentional harm toward his own daughter. I pressed my palms to my eyes, trying to steady my breathing. There was enough on that USB to destroy him in court. But we still had to survive the morning. At 7:30 a.m., the phone rang. My lawyer. "Anna, you need to be ready. Daniel filed for emergency custody as expected." "The hearing is at 10. My stomach twisted. "Do we have a chance?" I whispered. "More than a chance," she said. "Those recordings Ethan brought? They're admissible." And I listened to them all. "Anna, this will end today." I exhaled shakily. "And CPS?" I asked. "What if they'll be forced to stop their investigation once the judge hears this evidence." Trust me. Trust. Such a fragile word. I hung up, woke my daughter, and helped her dress. She clung to me silently, her eyes wide with fear. Do I have to see him today?" she whispered. I knelt down and held her shoulders. No, you won't have to speak. You won't even have to look at him. She nodded, biting her lip. When Ethan arrived to drive us, my daughter ran into his arms. He hugged her gently, whispering, "You're safe, I promise." We got in the car, but as we drove toward the courthouse, a black SUV suddenly pulled out from a side street, fast, aggressive, swerving directly toward us. Ethan slammed the brakes. My daughter screamed. The SUV stopped inches from our front bumper. The window rolled down, and there he was, Daniel. His face twisted with rage. He leaned out the window, shouting through gritted teeth, "You think you can take my family from me?" Ethan rolled down his own window. "Get away from us, Daniel!" But Daniel's eyes were locked onto me. "You're done, Anna. CPS already sees what you are. Today is the day I take my daughter back." My daughter shrank in her seat, trembling. Ethan pulled out his phone. "I'm calling the police." Daniel spat on the road, glaring. "This isn't over." Then he sped away, tires screeching. My heart hammered violently. "He's losing control," Ethan muttered. "That's good. The more desperate he gets, the more he exposes himself." But my hands wouldn't stop shaking. "Desperation makes him dangerous," I whispered. Reporters were everywhere again, buzzing, whispering, pointing. But I barely heard them. Inside the courtroom, Daniel was already seated with his lawyer. He looked furious, but composed enough to pretend innocence. The judge entered. "Mr. Carter," she said, "you requested an emergency custody hearing. Present your reasoning." Daniel stood and put on his perfect father mask. "Your Honor, my wife is emotionally unstable. She manipulates our child, coaches her to fear me, and—" My lawyer stood. "With the court's permission, we would like to submit newly recovered evidence." Daniel froze. The judge nodded. "Proceed." My lawyer placed the USB on the table. "This drive contains 16 audio recordings of Mr. Carter admitting verbal abuse, coercive control, intentional psychological harm, and threats against both his wife and child." Gasps filled the room. Daniel's eyes widened. No, this is fake. This is fabricated." But my lawyer pressed play, and Daniel's voice filled the courtroom. "She's too emotional, too stupid to survive without me. I'll bury her. I'll make everyone think she's insane. If she tells anyone, I'll make her regret being born." Daniel lunged forward, slamming his hands on the table. "Turn it off!" The bailiff stepped toward him. The judge's face hardened. "Sit down. Now." He slowly lowered himself, shaking with fury. My lawyer finished. "These are not only admissions of abuse, they directly contradict his claims today. This is manipulation, this is coercion, and this is a danger to the minor child." Silence. Then the judge spoke. Her voice was cold, decisive. "Mr. Carter, based on the evidence presented, your petition for emergency custody is denied." Daniel's face collapsed. "Furthermore," she continued, "you are hereby suspended from all parental rights pending a full investigation." Effective immediately, my daughter squeezed my hand. But she wasn't smiling, she was crying out of relief, out of freedom. Daniel stared at us, broken, cornered, defeated, and whispered, "This isn't the end." The judge looked directly at him. "Oh yes," she said, "it is." The courtroom air felt heavy, like everyone was holding the same breath, waiting for the judge to speak. My heart pounded so loudly I thought the whole room could hear it. My daughter held my hand tightly, her small fingers trembling, but strong. Stronger than anyone in that courtroom expected. The judge adjusted her glasses, staring down at the stack of evidence. Videos, photos, messages, all things my daughter had secretly collected. Each one was a piece of truth my husband thought he had buried forever. My husband sat frozen, sweat dripping down his temples. His lawyer whispered urgently, but he didn't respond. He looked hollow, defeated. Finally, the judge spoke. "Mr. Hale, after reviewing this evidence, your testimony is no longer credible." A gasp rippled across the courtroom. She continued, voice firm and unwavering. "You not only lied, you manipulated this family for years, and your daughter's bravery has exposed the truth." He shut his eyes as if the words physically hit him. The judge turned to me. "Mrs. Hale, I'm granting you full custody, full rights, and complete protection under the court. Your daughter's safety and yours comes first." Tears filled my eyes. For the first time in years, they were tears of relief. My daughter threw her arms around me. "Mom, we did it, but we weren't done yet." The judge delivered the final blow. "Mr. Hale, You will undergo counseling, pay all support owed, and are restricted from contact until further review. This court will not tolerate your behavior." He slumped back in his chair, defeated. As the gavel struck, the room erupted with whispers. People stared at my daughter with admiration, and some with disbelief. A child had changed the entire direction of a trial. Outside the courtroom, reporters swarmed. But all I saw was my daughter looking up at me with shining eyes. "Mom," she said softly, "are we finally free?" I knelt down and hugged her tighter than I ever had. "Yes," I whispered, voice breaking. "We're free because you were brave enough to speak." She smiled, the kind of smile I hadn't seen in years. And in that moment, the world felt lighter. We walked out of the courthouse hand in hand, into a future no longer controlled by fear, but by truth, and finally, peace.